Our first contestant today is Pappy. You'll remember Pappy from our show and from the news. He was the dog that, unfortunately, was found with a plastic jar over his head, preventing him from being able to defend himself, and his paw was also cut to provide a blood scent. The story of a bait dog, for sure. We're happy to tell you he's doing great. He's looking for treats.
He's found them.
And he actually looks great. Pappy was adopted by Nancy of Animal Allies of Texas. Nancy, Pappy, and Melody are all here with us today, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Now, I know you had told us a little bit about Pappy's story. Why don't you recap it and tell us again, just for maybe those who hadn't tuned in?
It started on August 22nd. There was a plea that went out locally here in the Dallas area looking for people who could come and help try to capture him. He had been on the street for at least a week prior, with us thinking not being able to drink or eat, much less defend himself from any additional damage. In the end, we were able to get him to the vet office and get the jar off of his head and start the process of healing. They realized about a day and a half into his care that he was not going to be able to keep the toe and part of the paw that had been cut open. They scheduled a surgery that Wednesday, and look at him now. Pappy Seven Toes.
Well, he looks great. Do you remember the first time you saw him?
I do. Those video clips, those very first video clips that we got, thank goodness for all the technology we have at our fingertips nowadays, but almost immediately I had that feeling in my gut that this wasn't an accident, that we were seeing the leftovers of a bait fight.
Well, people don't get and truly appreciate what that jar was like.
No.
I know that Pappy is just curious about it now and isn't that scared, but that is what was over his head.
Yeah.
And there's no mistake. He didn't put his head into that.
No. This was
the
cut.
edges are smoothed down. They were cut.
It was specifically cut and to be used for that.
What an incredibly sad story, and what a...
Well, we're keeping the jar. We're turning it into a donation jar.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So,
and initially we were very worried because Pappy was not the friendliest dog the first few days. He was in a large room at the vet's office, and when people would come in to start treating him, he growled a little bit. But as you can see, he's made a complete turnaround. He's had huge impact because we've gotten emails from all over the United States, from Australia, from England, and amazingly, so many people did not know what a bait dog was. And so he's been able to educate people about bait dogs and about dog fighting and all the attending crime that goes with dog fighting. And he's I think a real winner. I mean, he's a success story because he hasn't let what happened to him affect his wonderful personality.
No, he's got a great demeanor.
Yeah, he's a big goofy dog.
And
he wants to go play.
There was a special moment where he was with some kids and they threw him a party.
Oh, yeah, Melody will tell you that story.
Yes, this wonderful family over in Ned Cliff that are homeschoolers wanted to do something to contribute, and they held a Friday evening Pappy party, porch party. And friends and neighbors and folks from the community came over and enjoyed food that had been donated and beverages that had been donated. And there were all sorts of wonderful toys and stuff that were collected. And we had an opportunity before Pappy went to his foster home to let him see all of the wonderful presents that he received from the party. So.
And I have not adopted him. I'd love to. But I'm fostering him.
Okay.
And he's great with my pack of dogs. And as you saw in the film clip, he's wonderful with children. And he's looking for a forever home.
Now, how has he impacted you personally?
This makes me cry. We've all heard the stories about Michael Vick. And we know one of the Vick dogs that lives here in Dallas.
Wow.
But bait dogs and dog fighting are now very personal because I can't ever hear about them again without seeing this face and knowing the... Good boy. Good burp.
That's a good full tummy.
Yeah. And knowing you know, what he went through. I mean, he had the stab wound in his paw, you know, lost the toe, he had scars on his back. But
silly boy.
Yeah, crazy boy. But he's just terrific. I mean, he's come through this, come to the other side, and is such a sweet and loving dog. And it's a real victory. I had an email Monday from an animal shelter in New Mexico. They have a bay dog in who wasn't quite as lucky. He's going to be all right. And he's going to a rescue group. But we're getting emails now from people in shelters and other rescue groups who don't know about bait dogs and want to know why this is so prevalent.
And I think we need to not miss the opportunity here. Pappy is available for adoption, and we're looking for a wonderful home for him to spend his forever life.
Yes.
So please contact us if you're interested in adopting Pappy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess he's gained how much?
About 10 to 12 pounds and has maybe 5 more pounds to go.
5 more pounds.
But he looks great.
He's beautiful.
Yeah, he really is a beautiful dog. And he's so good with other dogs and with kids. He's not real fond of kitty cats, or maybe he's too fond, we could say.
Right. He loves them so much.
Yes. And as you saw, he likes food.
Right. Well, he's wonderful, and thank you for fostering him and finding him and helping him. And thanks so much for telling us your amazing story.
Thank you so much.
Because it is so important to get that out there. So Pappy is here on behalf of Animal Allies of Texas, and you can find out more online at animalalliesoftexas.org.